You have to know trigonometry down, okay? Like that is a requirement, a prereq for calculus is making sure you know trigonometry. So I highly recommend right when you start any type of quiz or examination from memory, you should be writing down this page and the next page. Now, this page is basically the unit circle. So if you happen to know the unit circle, great. Keep it in mind. If you want a way to decode the unit circle, this is how I decode it. So everything relates to sine, cosine, and tangent. In fact, everything relates to sine and cosine. And the main angles you need to be able to do without a calculator are 0, 30 degrees, 45 degrees, 60 degrees, and 90 degrees. But we're dealing with the radians now, so it's really 0, pi over 6, pi over 4, pi over 3, pi over 2. There's a pattern. The pattern overall is going to be sine and cosine, and you go square root of, check it out, square root of 0 over 2, square root of 1 over 2, square root of 2 over 2, square root of 3 over 2, square root of 4 over 2. Then you go backwards, square root of 0 over 2, square root of 1 over 2, square root of 2 over 2, square root of 3 over 2, square root of 4 over 2. This is not mine. I got this from a graduate student years ago who teaches this all throughout multiple different schools. It's just a great pattern that was shown to me that I'm showing to you. Simplify, 0, 1/2, 1, 0, 1/2, and 1. So if I want sine of pi over 6, it's 1/2. If I want cosine of pi over 3, it's also 1/2. What is tangent? It's just sine divided by cosine. So just divide. 0 divided by 1. 1/2 divided by the square root of 3 over 2 is 1 over the square root of 3, which you may be asked to rationalize. Not all the time, though, but keep in mind it's also 1 over the square root of 3. Square root of 2 over 2 divided by the square root of 2 over 2 is 1. Square root of 3 over 2 divided by 1/2 is just square root of 3, and 1 divided by 0 is undefined. You can't divide by 0. So those are all the major angles for sine, cosine, and tangent. And if you recall, the reciprocal of sine is cosecant, the reciprocal of cosine is secant, and the reciprocal of tangent is cotangent. So you flip all these for the reciprocal functions. But then you have to know the other angles in the other quadrants. So you got pi over 6, pi over 4, and pi over 3. So you might remember that little acronym, all students take calculus, which tells you where the trig functions are positive and negative. So what we're dealing with now is what's called a reference angle. A reference angle always refers to the x-axis. So you're basically taking pi over 6 in all four quadrants off the x-axis. You've got 0, pi, and then back to 2 pi. So basically, you're just going to go up pi over 6 and down pi over 6 off the x-axis. So if you've got 6 pi over 6, that's what pi is, go down 1. So you have 5 over 6, and go up 1, so you have 7 over 6. Over here, 2 pi is 12 over 6, so go down 1, that's 11 pi over 6. And then up 1 is your reference angle. Pi over 4, over here, that's 4/4, so go down 1, go up 1. This would be 2 pi, 0 and 2 pi, but 8 over 4, go down 1 to get 7 pi over 4. And then lastly, for pi over 3, over here, it would be 3 pi over 3, so go down 1, go up 1. And then over here, 2 pi is also 6 over 3, go down 1, and up 1 is the reference angle. And these are what you're going to need to use when trying to figure out to solve or to go ahead and simplify any type of trigonometric equation expression. Beyond that, you need to know your identities. Oh, it's blank. Well, ready? Here we go. The reciprocal of sine is cosecant. The reciprocal of cosine is secant. The reciprocal of tangent is cotangent. Quotient identities. Tangent is sine over cosine. Cotangent is cosine over sine. Pythagorean identities. Sine squared plus cosine squared equals 1. 1 plus tangent squared equals secant squared. 1 plus cotangent squared equals cosecant squared of theta. Negative angle identities. Sine of a negative angle is equal to negative sine of an angle. Cosine of a negative angle is equal to just cosine of that angle. And then tangent of a negative angle is equal to negative tangent of the angle. Cosine's unique because cosine's actually even, because if you go above or below the x-axis on the unit circle, you're going to get the same result. Sum and difference identities, I'll go ahead and type this up a little bit. Ready? So we've got sine of a plus b is equal to sine cosine plus cosine sine. However, that's the sum identity. If you want the difference, then just go ahead and put a little, if it's subtraction, then it's subtraction because it has the same sign. For cosine, cosine of A plus B is going to be cosine, cosine minus sine, sine. However, if it's cosine of A minus B, the signs change. If it's minus, that'll be A plus. Double angle identity, sine of 2A is equal to 2 sine A cosine A. And then cosine of 2A is equal to cosine squared A minus sine squared A. But if you take this Pythagorean identity up here and substitute it in, there's actually three equivalences. It's also 2 cosine squared A minus 1. It's also 1 minus 2 sine squared A. However long this video is, you need to be able to write it all down in probably this amount of time. You need to practice this, write this down every day, commit this to memory, make sure you understand it. But between all of your identities, I just did this from memory myself. So because I've been doing this, is what I do. So again, this page and this page, or instead of this page, unit circle is imperative to make sure you know when you're dealing with trigonometry.